Sadao looked up from his book. He was in his office, the other partition of which was thrown open to the garden for the southern sunshine. Simply here you can use the word partition that was curtain there. And through that partition, if it was drawn aside, it was open to the garden for the southern sunshine. Southern sunshine. What is it? He asked the messenger, and then he rose, seeing the man's uniform. Actually, there was a man who was wearing uniform and was coming to his house, and that is why he asked, "What is it?" "You are come to the palace," the man said. "The old general is in pain again." So this was the message that was given by the man to Dr. Sada, that the old general was in pain again, and that is why he had to go to his palace. I think you understand the meaning. Oh, Hannah breathed. Is that all? Miss, there was a surprise in Hannah's tone. She was expecting something else, as they had hidden the American prisoner, and for that she was expecting that something alarming or terrifying message may come from the old general. That's why she says, "Is that all?" All the messengers exclaimed, "Is it not enough?" The messenger exclaimed, when he spoke in surprise, "All? Is it not enough?" "Indeed it is," she replied. "I'm very sorry." Hannah said that she was feeling sorry. "Indeed it is enough for me." When Saddam came to say goodbye, she was in the kitchen, but doing nothing. At the time when Saddam was ready to go, she went into the kitchen to say goodbye to his wife, but doing nothing. She was there in the kitchen, but she was doing nothing. The children were asleep, and she sat merely resting for a moment. For a moment she was resting. More exhausted means tired from her flight than from work. Fright, the fear that she has got for giving the shelter to the American prisoner. "I thought they had come to arrest you," she said. His wife said, "I thought they had come to arrest you." Listen to me. She was expecting for that crime that her husband could be arrested also. Hello. Listen to me. He gazed down into her and exercise. He gazed down means he stared down and exercise eyes in which there was a sign of worries. "I must get rid of this man for your sake." For your sake means for your welfare. At least I must get rid of this man. Get rid of means just she wanted to be free from that man. Wanted to send a man back. He said in distress. He said in distress means he was feeling sorry, and he spoke this statement. "Somehow I must get rid of him." Somehow it means in any way. In any way, they wanted to get rid of him. They wanted to be free from that man and wanted to send him. Of course, the general said weakly, "I understand fully, but this is because I once took a degree in Princeton." Princeton, the name of the town, So few Japanese have, of course, the general said weakly, as he was not feeling well. That is why he said weakly, in a very weak tone. I understand fully, but that is because I once took a degree in Princeton. But that is because, means the reason is because I once took a degree in Princeton. In Princeton, I have got a degree. So few Japanese have. So few Japanese have. Just try to understand this statement. I care nothing for the man, Excellency, Sadao said. This respectful word was spoken by Dr. Sadao to the old general. I care nothing for the man. But having operated on him with such success, but having operated on him with such success, as the operation was done very successfully by Dr. Sadao, and the man was well again. See the remaining part. I care nothing for the man, Excellency, Sadao said, but having operated on him with such success, the respectful word was used by Dr. Sadao to the old general. Excellency, means very honorable person. I care nothing for the man. Simply Dr. Sadao was indicating to that American war prisoner. But he had operated him very successfully, and the man was very well again. As the general said, it only makes me feel you more indispensable to me. The general said, it only makes me feel you more indispensable to me, means you are very much necessary for me. Evidently, you can save anyone. Evidently means clearly you can save anyone. You are so skilled. Means you are so skilled in operations or in surgery that you can save any person. You say you think I can stand one more such attack, but I have had today. You say you think. Means this thinking was of Dr. Sadao, and he told the same to the old general. I can stand means I can bear one more such attack as I have had today, as this attack that he had to face on that day. And he was able to bear one more attack. Not more than one, Sadao said. Sadao said not more than one means he is not able to bear more than one attack. More than one attack he cannot be able to bear. See from the next paragraph, then certainly I can allow nothing to happen to you. Then certainly I can allow nothing to happen to you. Means this assurance was given by the old general to Dr. Sadao that nothing will happen to Dr. Sadao. The general said with anxiety, means with worries. His long pale Japanese face became expressionless, which means that he was in deep thought. You cannot be arrested, the general said, closing his eyes. His long pale Japanese face, pale means light yellowish color. Japanese face became expressionless, means there were no kind of feelings. Which means that he was in deep thought. It means he was thinking very deeply. He was thinking very deeply. You cannot be arrested, the general said, closing his eyes. Once again, the old general gave the assurance that Dr. Sadao cannot be arrested. Suppose you were condemned to death, and the next day I had to have my operation. Suppose you were condemned to death. Condemned means punished. Suppose a death sentence is awarded to Dr. Sadao, and the next day I had to have any operation or my operation. So then what would happen? Old general was thinking very deeply. There are other surgeons, Excellency, Sadao suggested. The suggestion was given by Dr. Sadao. There are other surgeons also. None I trust, the general replied. The general replied that he did not believe on anyone. The best ones have been trained by Germans and would consider the operation successful even if I died. Just try to understand his statement. The best ones have been trained by Germans, the best surgeons who are there. They are trained by Germans. Means that surgeon has been trained by Germans and would consider the operation successful even if I died. See the ironical statement. Means even the death comes to the old general, even after that they would consider that operation was successful. I do not care for their point of view. Means what are their ideas? I do not care about their ideas. He said, it seems a pity that we cannot better combine the German ruthlessness with the American sentimentality. It seems a pity that we cannot better combine. We cannot be able to combine it in a better manner. The German ruthlessness means German people's cruelty with the American sentimentality. Sentimentality means their feelings, their emotions. Then you can turn your prisoner over to execution, and yet I could be sure you would not murder me. Then you could turn your prisoner over to execution means hanging or death sentence, death punishment. And yet I could be sure you would not murder me while I was unconscious. Here, he was so firm and he had such a strong belief in Dr. Sadao. If he was unconscious, he was sure that Dr. Sadao will not murder him or will not let him die. The general laughed. Means the humorous statement was made by the old general, by Dr. Sadao. He had an unusual sense of humor. Humor means fun and laughter. So the sense of humor means he was in the mood of joking. As Japanese, could you combine these two foreign elements? As Japanese, could you not combine these two foreign elements? Foreign means abroad. Element means factors to if you could not combine. Simply he was asking a question. Simply he was asking a question whether he was able to combine these two foreign elements. Sadao smiled. I'm not quite sure. Sadao smiled, and in that mood he said, I'm not quite sure. He said, but for your sake, I will be willing to try. But for your sake means for you. I would be willing to try. Simply, I would like to combine the two foreign elements just because of your order and because of your desire that you are expressing before me. Excellency. Means he was speaking in a very respectful tone. The general shook his head. Means simply by means of shaking his head, he gave an indication. I had rather not be the test case. I had rather not be the test case. Means he was not the patient to be tested. He said he felt suddenly weak and overwhelmed with the cares of his life as an officer in times such as these when repeated victory brought great responsibilities all over the South Pacific. Thus he felt suddenly weak and overwhelmed. Overwhelmed means people are full of emotions with the cares of his life because he was very much worried about his life as an official in time. As an official in times means as an officer in times such as these, when repeated victory brought great responsibilities all over the South Pacific because they had won the battle and they had their responsibilities were increased all over the South Pacific. It is very unfortunate that this man should have washed up on your doorstep. It is very unlucky for you. It is very unlucky for you that this man should have washed up or blown away on your doorstep, washed away on your doorstep by the waves of the ocean, by the waves of the sea. He said irritably means in an irritable manner. और in Hindi you can use the word चिड़चिड़ाते हुए उसने कहा. I feel it to myself. Sadao said gently, means he also agreed with the old general. It would be best if he could be quietly killed. The general said, the suggestion was given by the old general. It would be best if he could be quietly killed. Not by you, but by someone who does not know him. I mean, the person should be killed by someone else, means by any stranger who does not know him. I have my own private assassins. Assassins means murderer. I have my own private murderers. Suppose I send two of them to your house tonight or better any night. Suppose I send two of them to your house tonight, miss, on the same night or better any night. You need to know nothing about it. You don't have any need to know about these things. What will be done by him? It is now warm. What would be more natural than that you should leave the outer partition of the white man's room open to the garden while he sleeps? May the suggestion was given by the old general that he should leave the outer partition of that white man's room where he was sleeping open to the garden while he sleeps. At the time when he is sleeping, he should leave the partition open on the side of the garden. Hello, are you able to understand? I think there is no need to discuss in Hindi. The contents are good enough. You people can understand. Certainly, it would be very natural. Sadav agreed. Certainly, it would be very natural. I mean, nobody will suspect that the man has been murdered, and nobody will come to know. It will be very natural, very usual. In fact, it is so left open every night. In fact, Miss Truly speaking, that partition is left open every night. Good. The general said yani. Yani means somehow jamhai leti hai. Good. They are very capable assassins. They are very capable murderers. They make no noise and they know the trick of inward bleeding. They make no noise and they know the trick of inward bleeding. Mean the trick of inward bleeding means they are very much skilled in murders. If you like, I can even have them remove the body. If like, I can even have them remove the body. Means those murderers will murder him, and after that his body will be removed from there. Sadao considered, means he thought very deeply, that perhaps would be best, excellency, perhaps that would be the best. He agreed, thinking of Hannah. He was thinking about his wife Hannah, and that is why he said that perhaps would be best. He left the general's presence then and went home. Means he came back from his house, from the palace, thinking over the plan that was told him by the old general. In this way, the whole thing would be taken out of his hands. In this way, the whole thing would be taken out of his hands. He would tell Hannah nothing. Means even he was not ready to tell this fact to his wife Hannah, since she would be timid at the idea of assassins in the house, at the idea of murderers in the house. She would be timid, means she will be frightened. While the meaning of the word timid is covered, in Hindi we use this word darpur. But here it's simply you can say she would be frightened at the thought of or at the idea of murder in the house. And yet certainly such persons were essential in an absolute state such as Japan was. And yet certainly such persons were essential, means were very necessary in an absolute state, in the state of necessity, such as Japan was. How else could rulers deal with those who oppose them? How else could rulers deal with those who oppose them? If the rulers are opposed or they are disobeyed, so this is very certain the rulers will try to murder them. It was his idea. He refused to allow anything but reason to be the atmosphere of his mind as he went into the room. He refused to allow anything. Just try to understand. To be the atmosphere of his mind means he tried that nothing should come into his mind. He did not allow anything to come into his mind. Here the phrase that has been used here, to be the atmosphere of his mind, means he didn't allow any of the facts to come into his mind. As he went into the room where the American was in bed, at the time when he went into the room where American prisoner was lying in the bed, but as he opened the door, but at the same time when he opened the door, to his surprise, he found the young man out of bed. The man was out of bed and preparing to go into the garden. He was ready to go in the garden. He was making preparation. What is this? He explained. Who gave you permission to leave your room? Just simply it was asked by Dr. Sadao in a very surprising tone. Who gave you permission to leave your room? What is this? I'm not used to waiting for permission, Tom said gaily. Now see, for the first time this word has been used. This is the name of the person, Tom, that I told you earlier even Bailey means very happily. I'm not used to, means I'm not habitual to waiting for permission. For permission to wait, it was not my habit. Those I feel pretty good again. Just try to understand. Those I feel pretty good again. This exclamatory word has been used by Tom. I'm feeling good, very good today. But with the muscles on this side always feel stiff. Stiff means firm. The muscles has become tight. Is it so? Sadao inquired. Sadao tried to know. Is it so? Is it so means? Is it true that your muscles are tight or stiff? But at the same time, he was surprised also. He forgot all else. He forgot all else means whatever the ideas were running into his mind, he forgot about all those ideas. Now I thought I had provided against that. He murmured. He lifted the edge of the man's shirt and gazed at the healing scar. Healing scar means the wound there was there. The where the wound was healing. वो घाव जब भर रहा था. He tried to fix his eyes at the scar. Hello, hello. Try, just try to understand this one. He lifted the edge of the man's shirt. As means the side of the man's shirt. He lifted and gazed at the healing scar. Healing scar जो उसके घाव के भरने का स्कार खरोच का निशान था. Masses may do it. Sorry, massage may do it.